Swapping out your FutureShock suspension system for an FSD kit is really simple, and I'll show you how to do it. The first step is just to remove the existing FutureShock. Now if you have a 1.5 like the one that's shown here, first thing I want to do is just to remove the threaded top cap, like so. Now if you've got a FutureShock 2.0 unit like this one here, you'll use a tiny 1.5mm Allen wrench to loosen up the set screw on the top cap, and then it'll come right off. Once you have the top cap removed, you can loosen up the stem pinch bolts and remove the handlebars. Take a small plastic non-marring tool like this to gently release the clip that's holding the front of the duckbill cover, like so. Now this step is only necessary if you're using the taller version of this cover. If you're using the shorter version of this cover, you can skip this step. You can now loosen up the stem pinch bolt, which is right here, and it takes a 4mm Allen wrench. You just have to loosen it enough so that the FutureShock cartridge can slide out. Remove the plastic cover as well as any headset spacers. The next step is to transfer the rubber boot over to the FSD cartridge. To do this, start at the bottom and lift the rubber boot out of the groove that's on the cartridge. Then just work your way around until the entire boot is out of the groove. Now at this point you can just slide the entire boot up until it comes off of the FutureShock. Now because the FSD is a direct replacement for a FutureShock, they are going to reinstall the boot onto the FSD cartridge, but of course this part is purely aesthetic and only done to preserve a stock look. The reinstalling the boot is exactly the reverse process of removing it. Now, it's a pretty tight fit, but just keep pushing it down until it stops on this machined ridge, like so. Now at this point you just have to get that bottom lip of the boot back into this groove on the FSD cartridge. The easiest way to do this is to kind of give the boot a little bit of a pinch, like so. Then you can use your other hand to get the boot started into that groove, and then it's just a matter of working your way around until the entire bottom ridge of that boot is in the groove. When you're finished, the bottom part of the boot should look like this. Now at this point you can reinstall any spacers that you had previously installed, followed by the plastic cover, like so. And because this is a carbon to metal interface, it's a good idea to use some carbon grip paste on the inner surface of the steer tube. Now at this point you can reinsert the FSD cartridge, making sure that these tabs on the plastic cover engage with the slots in the steer tube, like so. Just want to give the plastic cover a little twist to make sure that it's fully seated. You can give the cartridge a push downward to make sure that it's fully inserted. You can go ahead and tighten down the pinch bolt. We'll give this a final torque a little bit later, but just cinch it down for now. Then you can go ahead and reinstall the stem. Just push it all the way down until it meets the top of the boot. After you make sure that the stem is pushed all the way down onto the cartridge and that your handlebars are straight, you can go ahead and tighten down the stem pinch bolts. We'll give these a final torque in just a minute. Now with the stem and handlebars reinstalled, you can take the included top cap and just press fit it down until it stops. Now before we finish, we want to make sure that we torque all the bolts down to spec. The collar pinch bolt will take 4 Newton meters, and the stem pinch bolts will take the torque spec specified by the manufacturer. In this case, the stock stem will take 5 Newton meters of torque. Now installation of the FSD kit should not have interfered with the headset preload, but regardless you still want to check the headset preload before you set off for your first ride. Now for detailed instructions on how to adjust the FutureShock headset, you can check out this video up here. Now once the collar pinch bolt and the stem pinch bolts are torqued to spec and your headset is adjusted, you can go ahead and replace the plastic cover, making sure that the tabs click and that the cover is secure. Now one thing to note is that the top cap is an interference fit, and because the preload for the system is handled lower in the system, the top cap is purely ornamental. It was designed to stay in place even through rough terrain, and so if you do want to remove it, you may need to get something flat and non-marring like this plastic automotive trim panel remover just to get it started so that you can pull the top cap out. And that is how you install the FSD kit. It's almost identical to installing any other FutureShock cartridge, with the exception of first transferring over the rubber boot. Alright, well that's going to do it for this one. If you have any questions about the installation, just let us know down in the comments and we'll do our best to get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.